This is the back end of a 2007 Subaru Outback station wagon that I purchased recently. And soon after purchasing this car, I discovered that the rear windshield wiper was not working. That the license plate lights were not working, and that the radio got terrible reception. I could pick up almost nothing. It turns out that this car has a notorious problem with wiring harness, particularly the wiring harness as it exits the body of the car and enters the lift gate. We're going to get a closer look at that. I've gone ahead and raised the lift gate. Now I have removed most of the trim to expose the wiring. On the driver's side, we have this conduit here from the main body of the car into the lift gate. And this conducts the electrical wires from the body to the lift gate. And then you can see those wires continue on in this direction. And one of the things that it supplies is this device here, which is the amplifier for the antenna. The antenna wires are here in the windshield. And we connect with these wires the antenna to the antenna amplifier to the wiring harness. And again, back through here and back into the rest of the car. Now, on the other hand, on the other side of the car, on the passenger side, again, we have a similar setup here. Another conduit carrying numerous wires, including the wires to the windshield wiper motor and the rear door latch and the lights. There's a lot more wires on this side than the other side. There's about a dozen wires in here. If you peel back these grommets, you can kind of expose the wires. Peeling back the grommet on this side, I can count actually 4 individual broken wires. So that explains a lot of the problems we're having. I'll try to illuminate that a little bit better. Like there's a broken one right there. There's another one right there, and there's a couple more back in there. 4 broken wires. The other wires, even if they're not broken, they're sort of dry rotted and cracked and ready to break. On this side, I will probably try to replace the entire wiring harness with that many broken wires. Now on the driver's side, pulling this grommet here, what we see, we have far fewer wires. We only really have 4 wires here, one of which I believe is a ground. Anyway, we have one clearly broken wire, black with a red stripe. Okay. Now, as it turns out, that wire connects to here, to our antenna amplifier. And that's why our radio is getting almost no reception. So we've got to do something about that wire. Now, since this side is only one broken wire, I'm going to attempt to just repair that one wire. I'm going to see if I can't splice it back together again and reestablish continuity. Replacing this harness would be quite a bit of work and expense, so we'll see if I can't fix that one wire. Now, one thing they did here, connected to this grommet, there's a sort of a long tail on this grommet, and then they wrapped it up with electrical tape, fixing it to the cable itself. So it's going to be, I'm going to have to break this yellow tape here in order to expose that wire to the point that I can work on it. Okay, let's see if we can do this without damaging anything. And now we've got it free. Now we can expose it a little bit better. Let's see if we can't find the other end of that wire. I just pulled this end, this broken end, all the way through. At least this way I can expose it and, you know, get my wire cutters on it and expose some metal here. Okay, I've used my wire cutters to expose a little raw metal on each side. Hopefully that'll be enough. I can't expose too much because, you know, these wires are a fixed length, so. Okay. I now have the problem of feeding this wire back through this rather sticky, rather serpiginous grommet. So what I've decided to do is simply tape it to a screwdriver and see if I can't push it through. And here it is. Okay, so now we have both ends of that wire. Looks like it's going to take like 5 or 6 hands to do this. Okay, let's see what we can do. I've pre-positioned a piece of heat shrink on this wire down here so that when I do solder them I can just slide it over them. And put a little bit of flux on the ends of those wires. Hopefully that'll make them stick a little bit better. Okay, I've gone ahead and I have made a solder joint there and between those two wires. And I've got some heat shrink. I'm going to slide the heat shrink over it. Okay, I'm going to heat shrink that into place. Okay, it looks like the heat shrink is on, and I just tested the radio in the car, and the reception is much better. I'm picking up lots more stations than I could before, so I think we got it. But anyway, that's it. That's how you fix it. Okay, I've just put some black electrical tape where that yellow electrical tape used to be. I don't think the color makes any difference. And just a matter of popping those grommets back into place. There we go. And there we go. Okay, I guess that's it. from what I'm reading, this is a very common problem. So, given the mechanical stresses on this, I imagine it's probably going to break again, but at least for now I've got radio reception.